Welcome to another episode of There Will Be Expletives. I'm Jeff.
I am Ron.
And so currently, Ron, that Arrow season finale is going on that we are not watching. Thankfully. Fucking. Oh, wait, no.
Today's been rough enough. I didn't need to add that.
No, I forgot its true name. Sayonara. I fucking love that. It was worth watching and sitting through all those seasons of Arrow just to quit it and then call it Sayonara. But today we got quite a bit to get through, mostly movie news, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Alright, so first up in the movie news, and I don't know how you feel about this. I'm pretty indifferent on it, but Disney and Netflix have reached an agreement with an undisclosed amount of money. I'm sure it is a lot. Netflix has the exclusive streaming rights to the Disney world. Basically,
they had to sacrifice the firstborns of everyone currently working at Netflix to
Walt.
To the Walt god, who's just like a shrine in front of his head that's frozen. So it's basically... this is just a boon for Netflix, and it doesn't really affect anyone else. Pretty much the way they were able to afford this is because everyone in the universe already has Netflix.
That's what I was going to say. To me, it doesn't piss me off as much as, say, like Amazon Prime getting exclusive stuff, because hardly anyone out there, it seems, has a fucking Prime account.
Especially compared to Netflix.
So... maybe it's just because it doesn't affect me. I don't know, but I'm pretty okay with it. I'm pretty on board with it.
They got what was crazy is their exclusivity goes as far as like HBO and stuff like that too. Like the cable channels can't even show it for a while.
Really?
They said that stuff like Showtime, HBO will get to show it eventually, but they will have timed exclusivity.
See,
with
and
stuff like that.
that's kind of HBO's thing, is like being the first one out there to have it. So
yeah, this is really even if it was just for one of the Star Wars stuff or the MCU stuff, it would have been a big deal. But to get both of those plus stuff like the Jungle Book, that was one of the first ones they plugged.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much it costs, but it is a huge get for them.
I do just want to throw out there, because I thought it was really funny, that my wife was reading an article about the deal, and it pissed her off because the writer was like, now you can watch all of your favorite Disney movies on Netflix. And she was like, the shit you can. That just because it's on, just because they have the deal doesn't mean they're going to open the vault for Netflix.
Why do they still have the vault?
I don't know.
It's 2016.
To create demand.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they fucking have demand, though, is for the next story.
I was going to say, it'll... they'll be opening the vault for Beauty and the Beast once that movie comes out.
It should have already been fucking opened up. Like this should have been available to buy the day before the fucking trailer came out.
No, I think it would be smarter to wait until maybe after the movie's been out, like a month.
I think as soon as there's 91 million people watch that trailer, it should be available that day. Because 91 million people were like you and me having fucking Be Our Guest stuck in their heads. Why would you not want that available to buy and rent is beyond me on that day.
It works for them, though, because people would go ape shit when they open the vault for something, and it becomes incredibly rare.
I get the supply and demand, but I think you have a pretty big demand when 91 million people watched your shit. Just saying, Disney.
I liked that trailer, though.
I did, too, and I don't give a shit about... If I'm excited for it and I don't give a shit about Beauty and the Beast, it's going to make $150 million opening weekend.
I'm kind of torn between... Because it opens, like, March 2017. I'm kind of torn between... Was it a teaser trailer, like a true teaser trailer?
I think it was a true teaser trailer.
Was it a tease because they made it that way, or was it because because they haven't done any of the CGI work yet?
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah.
But we always say less is more. I appreciate that approach of the trailer. I thought it was really cool.
Something I oddly appreciated for some reason is you see a tiny glimpse of Belle's face, but they completely obscure her anytime they showed her.
So you can tell it's Hermione, but that's really all you...
Yeah, that's all you know.
Well, first of all...
I'm assuming her dress is going to have some CGI elements to it.
So, first of all, they had me sold with the three names of Tucci, McGregor, and McKellen.
Yeah.
That's enough to get me in the theater. So.
Yeah, and then, Emma Thompson, is that her name?
Yeah, I like Hermione. She's a good actress. She's especially good in that Perks of Being a Wallflower movie you still need to watch.
Yes, I do.
Very good acting in that. She is the one person person as far as all the kids who actually escaped those fucking movies unscathed. Like, she can actually have a career. She's the only one. Harry Potter, bless his heart, is trying, but it is not going to work out for him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not, because he's Harry Potter in everyone's mind.
Now, he can't complain about that, because the only reason anyone knows Daniel Radcliffe, who he is because of those movies.
Exactly. And if he had a good agent, he'd be tied into some of the merchandising and all that stuff, too, because it's his image.
After, 15 different Harry Potter movies, though, I'm sure he's set for life.
Oh, I'm sure.
Dude, he could survive.
He's out there walking like 15 dogs.
Let's say he, as of this moment, went on a Charlie Sheen bender for 5 days in Vegas and blew his entire fortune on hookers and blow. Let's just say Harry Potter goes apeshit. He could survive the rest of his life off autographs at conventions because he's fucking Harry Potter. Like, he's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, it does kind of suck that he eventually, if you didn't know this, later on, he got into acting. Like, he actually does Broadway and shit like that now. It's like,
it was a big controversy over, they hadn't finished filming Harry Potter yet, and he was in that one Broadway play about the guy that has sex with horses. So he's like naked on stage with like horses and shit. And there was a big controversy over that, actually, because he can't be Harry Potter because he's not a child icon if he's doing shit like that. There was a big to-do about it.
Yeah. It just sucks that he, like, first of all, he didn't really care when he was a little kid, but eventually he did want to. But as far as movies are concerned, he's
done.
Well, he's actually a character in that Now You See Me 2, the sequel to it.
Is he?
And I'm assuming he might end up being, just from the trailer, he might end up being the bad guy in it. Yeah. Which I applaud if that's the route the movie goes, him trying that, because he should.
Yeah.
What he needs is a good, gritty, independent movie where he's like a serial killer. He needs to go like to the opposite end of the spectrum to try and break the image.
They need to remake Watcher and he replaces Keanu Reeves. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, they really do.
Because that movie changed my thought about Keanu Reeves for the rest of my life. Watching him strangle people with piano wire.
The other thing with the story was, I mentioned how many views it got. It got 91 million views in its first 24 hours, which broke the record for the second Force Awakens teaser. 91 million for Beauty and the Beast, and 88, I believe, for Star Wars. That is insane.
Yeah, it is.
Because every single person in the world, including me, watched that Star Wars trailer like 4 or 5 times in that first 24 hours. Yeah, this is absolutely nuts. If Jungle Book made 100 million, this will probably make at least 140, 150.
And getting to hear McGregor as Lumiere and McKellen as Cogsworth, dude, was worth that whole trailer also.
I 110% agree.
But we have one more bit of Disney news, and this one surprised me because I thought it was on the list of movies they were going to do. I didn't know they still hadn't decided to do this. But I guess Disney's considering a live-action Little Mermaid. I thought when that list of movies came out for live-action stuff, it was on there.
I think it was maybe considered, but now they're really considering it because, holy shit, these movies we already have made, all we do is make them live-action, get a good cast, and you make $100 million automatically. Yeah. It's a brilliant business move.
And here's the other thing that I like about the idea. Normally, I would say, well, you're just like riding
it's cash grabbing.
The wave. Yeah, you're just cash grabbing. But when you own Star Wars and you own the MCU and you don't have to worry about cash flow coming in, they can spend a pretty good chunk of money on these movies.
And they are, because Jungle Book looked gorgeous.
And they can spend the money to get the correct cast. I'm not saying expensive actors are good actors, but they can go out and seek out highly sought after actors for these roles. So.
And the we didn't mention it, but the Beauty and the Beast, it looked gorgeous too. I love the art direction on it. But the problem,
the rumor that I had heard a few months ago was that Hit Girl was the one in the running to be Ariel.
Yeah, I think we might have included that in the pod too. I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be okay with her. I like Chloe Grace Moritz. The problem with getting this off the ground is the same reason why BioShock never got made, and why Aquaman is probably going to be a bit of a process, because how the shit...
I just realized they're already kind of doing a mermaid story.
The problem is, how the shit do you do a live-action movie that is underwater? Like, it could be problematic, because, like, what do you do as far as the look of it the entire time? Because let's say it works like the way it does in the Little Mermaid movie. if you're underwater the entire time, that means you have a constant special effect that has to be on screen for the entire hour and a half. It'd be fucking expensive to do.
It would, but it also depends on how you did it, because, I mean, if you think about that cartoon, the whole way they depicted that they were underwater was with hair movements and occasional bubbles coming out of their mouth.
It's a little bit easier to accomplish that, though, in a cartoon than a live
It is,
action.
but, I mean, there was, what movie was it? Well, let's take 300, for example. No, it wasn't 300. She was in a tank of water, but you didn't see her as in water. There's a movie out there where it's supposed to look like they're in water, but they're not. And what they had done was taken a bowl of water and put some glitter in it and swirled it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And the camera kind of looked through that. So they weren't in water, but you kind of had like shit kind of floating around. And it kind of looked like they were. I mean, you can do practical things to get that effect.
What everyone expects them to do, basically, for shit like Aquaman and this, is to do what they did in Star Wars Episode 1. How they go into basically air pockets underwater. Because that's just the easiest way to film it and cheapest way to film it.
I can't see that, because that wouldn't be true to the
that's
source.
what I'm saying. I think that's why the only reason Little Mermaid isn't already greenlit and like fucking in production right now, I think, is that problem. It's because they're concerned about
I think
how to
you
do
get the
it.
right creative people behind it. I don't think it'd be a problem.
I think it will be a challenge. You have to have really good people, and you have to have a clever idea. And the problem is just finances, because like I was saying, that is, to some degree, a constant special effect. It's one of the reasons the Transformers are fucking supporting characters in their own movies, because they are a constant special effect.
But it's not the whole movie. It's like half. I mean, that's still a good chunk.
Yeah, that's a very, like...
But it's not the whole movie.
Because, like... Look at like the budget for Jungle Book, which had all those constant running special effects, all the animals. Like it ranks up there, especially if you're going after a great cast. Like you have to add in all of that shit. Marketing, like these Disney things have a huge marketing campaign. It's just Disney. At the end of the day, yeah, they have all of this money, but they don't want to make a losing money maker. Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know.
I'm curious about it. I actually. Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid never did anything for me, but I like the direction they're going with the live action stuff.
I always really liked Beauty and the Beast. Little Mermaid I didn't give two shits about, and I probably wouldn't watch a live action one unless Chris drugged me to it. So
it depends on if they got a cast of the quality that Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast do, I would consider it.
I'm gonna guess with what they did with Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast that they probably will. Because it seems like they're going all out. I mean, they had a decent cast. Was Cinderella official Disney, or was that not?
I think it was, but I don't think they were approaching it the same way they are these.
They weren't. Oh, let me tell you, because I saw it.
Because I can't remember anyone who was in Cinderella. I think Rob Stark was in it, maybe. That was the only actor I remember.
Yeah, Rob Stark was in it, and the Master, the old version of Master before he regenerates. What's his name? He's also in Underworld and several other things. You know what?
So he was a character in it.
You are.
Yana was. You're
Yana.
Not Alone.
Yeah, him. He was the king. Rob Stark was the prince. Chick I don't know was Cinderella, and then Kate Blanchett was the evil stepmother.
So all the money went towards Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, so I mean, there was people throughout the whole thing that had cameos. Skarsgård was in it.
The dad or the son?
I guess the dad. One that's in Thor.
Yeah, Stellan.
Yeah, he was in it because I don't think I've ever seen his son. I hear he's very attractive.
His son is Tarzan, I think.
Oh, okay.
The True Blood dude. Pretty sure that's him.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's another. Why the fuck is Tarzan getting made? Is that Disney or is that someone else?
Honestly, I couldn't fucking tell you because I've never in my life given two shits about Tarzan, and really no one has. I don't understand.
The only time I cared about him was in the Geico commercial.
I don't get it.
Shit that we do care about though is the first image of Charlize Theron from Fast and Furious 8 has been released.
I can't believe there's been 8 Fast and Furious movies. That still blows my mind.
Yeah. How old did you say the first one is now? 15 years?
15 years. Just the 15-year anniversary. You'll be able to see the first one in theaters again as a re-release. That just shows you how fucking old we are.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like any image of Charlize Theron I see.
I second that. I also like the fact that they made sure to include her in a Metallica t-shirt to kind of show that she'll have a little bit of flair to her little character. Because that's been my issue with their villains, is if you noticed, like, all their bad guys are gruff, foreign European white guys just trying to murder people because they'd like to. That's at least been the theme for the last 3 or 4 movies.
I don't know. I didn't get that.
Well, you have Jason Statham. Gruff,
I keep forgetting he was in one of them.
Gruff European white dude. One before that was Luke Evans. Gruff European white dude. The bad guy in 4... No, who was the bad guy in Fast 5?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I can't either.
It was that town that they destroyed with the vault. That was the bad guy.
Did I see that one?
You did. That would have been the first one with The Rock. You saw that one.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
I only own up to the 4th one.
I like 5, 1, and 7 are my favorites. I
liked 4 pretty good.
I didn't really
Fast
care
and Furious.
I didn't care for 4.
I liked it.
I didn't care for 6 really either.
It was interesting because it was like rebooting, but not rebooting.
It was a clever way to reboot it. I just, as the movie in a nutshell, I wasn't that crazy about it. I like 5 though. To me, 5 was like a remake of 4, but better almost.
That's where it peaked for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested in it, but probably like the others, I probably won't see it. But
I thought you were all over Fast and the Furious. Like, you're more of a car guy than me. It seems like you like them more than I do. I just kind of watched them for the sake of watching them.
I like them, but they're kind of one of those things that I forget about them by the time they come out. I've forgotten that it even exists.
I think they're incredibly overrated for the amount of money they make. I don't understand how they're able.
I mean, it's not that I have anything against them. Like, usually when I watch one, I generally like it. I mean, I don't really dislike any of them. I have ones I like better than others, but I don't really dislike any of them.
I think it's insane that they make like on par with some of the MCU stuff. That's crazy to me.
I don't know. I mean, they're just a high octane action flick now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crazy stunts. It's a spectacle.
I don't know.
If nothing else, it's a spectacle.
It is a spectacle. I am actually more interested in this one because of Charlize Theron. She can actually, because I like Jason Statham, but he's fucking Jason Statham. Like, Charlize Theron is like one of the best actresses in Hollywood. So they actually got some good potential with the villain finally.
Speaking of potential, I guess
maybe
is that a good segue?
Maybe.
I don't know. I actually read the full article on Nerdist, but apparently John Carpenter is coming back as in producer capacity and possibly score for the Halloween, the 10th film in the franchise. Did you read the full article? I
read parts of it.
It sounds like he has a lot of creative input, even though he's just in a producer capacity.
I did see his quotes.
Yeah, and I like that. Especially, I haven't seen a Halloween movie in a long time. I didn't even know this was going to be the 10th one. I was shocked to find out there was that many.
Well, there were basically in the late 80s and 90s, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Freddy got whored out to the nth degree. Just sequel after garbage-ass sequel. Like, every 5 minutes there was a new movie of that. And they were all fucking awful.
I did like the Jason movie where he was in space.
Jason X?
Yeah, I think it was. I actually did like that one.
Yeah, that one was just like so ridiculous you couldn't even be mad at it if you wanted to. It was just fucking stupid.
Yeah, but it was awesome at the same time.
Yeah, it was almost like the horror equivalent of like Sharknado, just like so stupid. It's like you can't even help yourself.
Me and Dad went and saw it.
But like awesome. Some of his quotes were basically saying he was, first of all,
he didn't like the direction that the reboot.
First of all, it's fucking John Carpenter.
Yeah,
it's fucking John Carpenter, dude.
How are you gonna have him tied to it in any way and not go to him for creativity?
I'm not basically spoiling anything and saying one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time is his movie The Thing. Yeah. I fucking adore that film. I think he's a brilliant director. His Halloween movie is very good too. It still holds up. Because he's like the master in that first Halloween movie of like just straight up tension. Because really, when you think about it, not much happens in that movie, but it's still just intense because he can make mood. Just like The Thing. The Thing has lots and lots of scenes, nothing really going on, but you're like on the edge of your seat, like what the fuck's gonna happen? Like, he's that good. So his quotes were basically saying like, and I completely agree with him, his problems with the Rob Zombie ones especially were Rob Zombie went out of his way to explain his origin, which completely defeats the purpose of making him seem like, and this was one of Carpenter's quotes, it's like Michael Myers should seem like the wind. Like
Yes.
he should be like an elemental force of nature, not a dude, because
Yeah.
you're always more afraid of what you can't comprehend or understand. That's his whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. So,
that was the quote I was going to say if you
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, because I figured that was going to be the one that grabbed your eye because we've talked a lot about stuff, and you use the force of nature line a lot when we talk about things. So I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never been a huge Halloween fan. I mean, again, nothing against them.
I've always ranked them of the main ones: Freddy, then Halloween, and then Friday the 13th. That's been my rankings of them. Just because, like, Halloween might be a better movie than the first Nightmare on Elm Street, but the concept of Freddy was genius.
I like the concept of Freddy better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big like horror movie buff.
Me either.
So to me, I just kind of looked at them all in the same light for the most part. Jason and Mike Myers, I used to get confused all the time which movie belonged
which will
to
get
who
you
and
shanked
stuff.
by horror fans.
Oh,
Because
I know.
people who are into horror, that's like all they watch year round is horror.
Yeah, they can like explain the differences between them. Like it sounds like the same guy to me. I'm sorry, but
So the director they were throwing
one
around
lives under a lake or something. I don't know.
The director they were throwing around was actually the director of Oculus. Did you ever watch Oculus?
No, I did not.
It was actually
is that the Karen Gillan?
It was the Karen Gillan one. It was actually a pretty clever little horror movie I watched a couple years ago.
It's in my Netflix purgatory. I haven't even logged into Netflix probably in the past couple months.
My Netflix account is actually currently suspended until they bring back a Marvel show. But yeah. I actually liked his Oculus. Was a little nerve-wracking movie. It was basically all having to do with mirror dimensions, like shit like that, which is crack for me.
Yeah,
I love me some mirror dimension shit like that. It was a cool little horror movie. They had a pretty cool like little ending to it. It was cleverly written, cleverly directed. So if he's actually on board eventually, I'm okay with that. I liked his movie, the one I've seen.
That sounds cool. Yeah. If you've got John Carpenter, a guy that is legendary in the horror film genre, and then a director that knows how to create mood and create a setting, then it'll probably be pretty good. I mean, I'll check it out if nothing else on a $5 Tuesday. I mean, fuck it.
$5 Tuesday.
We need to use the more you know thing every time we mention $5 Tuesday.
Dun dun dun.
Something that you and I have not watched because we're saving ourselves for the movie is there's another Star Trek Beyond trailer out, I guess.
It's apparently incredible.
Is it?
Because all the people who, for whatever reason, were bitching about the first trailer are all on board now.
Well, Jeff, if you take Star Trek and try to make it interesting, it's going to be garbage, clearly.
Man, shit happened, and I was just like, I don't like it. This is not faithful.
Yeah.
All those people that were bitching about it before are all like, all of a sudden, like, going gaga.
See, and what worries me about that first trailer was pretty cool and did what a trailer should do and just show you a couple of cool little things to get you interested. And, it had a little bit of story elements. It showed a few of the action elements, but it didn't really show you what context. So even if it did show you a spoiler, you didn't know it was a spoiler because you didn't have any context to it.
Other than the Enterprise is going to crash for like the 17th time.
Right. It's a spoiler alert. But that was a perfect opportunity for a drop. Anyways. But what worries me is if this trailer was released in reaction to people's reaction, then it's probably chock full of spoilers. So that's why.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm also going on board right now and saying anything my ass is in the seat for, I'm not watching any trailers for anymore. I will give them one teaser trailer, and then I'm like Doctor Strange. My ass is in the seat. I'm not watching any more of their trailers. I trust Marvel more than the rest of them, but
I agree. But I don't think I can stay away from Doctor Strange.
I'm not watching. We haven't gotten anything for Wonder Woman, have we?
Not yet.
We'll probably get something from Comic-Con. I will watch.
I think they're holding out because they're the only things at Comic-Con.
I will watch the first trailer for Wonder Woman. Then I will not watch anything else. Because I sure as shit don't trust Warner Brothers. What was funny is they released in front of Civil War. The Suicide Squad trailer, the brand new one, and what I did during the watching of it, I didn't want to watch it, so I pulled out my phone and didn't pay attention to it. It's gotten to that point. I literally do not trust 95% of Hollywood with their trailers. I'm just not watching them. and it's sad because it's like one of the most exciting things about liking movies, and it sucks.
It used to be,
and it sucks that we've gotten to the point where we can't even enjoy them because we don't want to watch them. That's a real bummer.
It really is because trailers used to be their own art form.
A lot of people, I mean, will go on record as saying that are like movie files like you and I, like, my favorite part about going to the theater is the trailers, and this is not the case anymore.
No, it's not.
It's like it basically just gets you frustrated, and if it doesn't spoil shit, they replay the same trailer you don't care about. If I see one more trailer for that Civil War movie that's not the cool Civil War,
the McConaughey one,
I was like, dude, I didn't give a shit about your movie the first time I saw this. Now I've seen it 10 times. I do not care.
Let's go and win this. All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, trailers.
I'm sorry. I've just reached the point. Anytime I see McConaughey anywhere, I just immediately start laughing. I can't handle him. He's just too much of a cut up.
What's happened to trailers really bums me out as a movie fan.
Yeah, I know. Same for me.
So yeah, if you would like to check out the trailer, be our guest. Nice little callback. Yeah, check it out if you'd like. If you don't care about spoilers, but I do think you're like dead on in saying that there's probably a lot more in there than you'd like to see.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, they probably actually showed the Enterprise crashing.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I can't fucking wait for that movie. I love those new Star Trek movies. They're awesome.
But yep.
Speaking of awesome sequels of Carl fucking Urban, Ron.
Fuck yes.
Thor Ragnarok has now added Karl Urban as Scourge and Jeff Goldblum. What's his character's name?
The Grandmaster.
The Grandmaster, the pimp name too. They've got real good character names in that Thor movie. First of all, if you have followed any of our shit, you know Stanley Tucci and Karl Urban are at the top of the X-Force shrine.
That's our boys. And
you're telling me Karl Urban's playing a Thor villain that uses a battle axe? I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. And I mean, that just kind of goes without saying. They confirmed Cate Blanchett's character. I think her name is Hela. I think that was her name. So she's going to be the main villain. Urban will be basically her main henchman, probably. And you have any more info on who Jeff Goldblum's playing on there?
Well, Jeff Goldblum... all I know is that he is the Grandmaster, who is the brother of the Collector.
So he's going to be eccentric and weird as fuck, like
yes,
was.
Which
perfect for Jeff Goldblum.
I was going to say he is in real life anyway. So I mean, did you see his apartment commercials?
They're so fucking weird.
I know, and I love it. That's what made him so charming in Jurassic Park. You know,
must go faster. Go faster.
So, but. I mean, to be honest, they had me at Thor 3, so...
Yeah, and then their cast is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But I was already super stoked for this, just because how much I like the Thor movies. But, man, Karl Urban?
Yeah, Karl Urban, Cate Blanchett, Jeff Goldblum, I'm assuming Tom Hiddleston... Idris Elba.
With the setup of what happened in the last one, too.
Spoilers, Jeff.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
This was an independent film that was not released
I know.
Across the country. It was limited release. Not everyone's seen it, Dick. But yeah, I mean, the MCU's cast is getting hard to even fathom.
What's harder to fathom is who's left in Hollywood that isn't associated with a Marvel movie.
I know,
now.
right?
It's just crazy. But we haven't even mentioned what's the next story, and that is that fucking Mark Ruffalo. We always forget that this is pretty much what they've actually kind of referred to it as almost like a buddy cop movie with fucking Thor and the Hulk.
Yeah,
like this is going to be the most we have seen of the Hulk, I think. Ruffalo on tour for a different movie. I forget what he was advertising for, but he pretty much said when he was asked, expect a lot more Hulk than what you've recently gotten. The most you've ever really gotten from him is probably, was it Ultron? Is where we got the most banner?
Yeah, of Ruffalo's Hulk, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they pretty much pretend like the other one didn't happen.
Yeah, the Norton one. Which is a shame. I actually liked that movie.
I liked it too, but it is the full-on redheaded stepchild of their universe. So... you get all of this cool shit. Even if Hulk was in the movie at all, we'd be super stoked. But like all of this plus more Hulk, which we've been dying for because Ruffalo has been killing it in the Avengers movies as him. Like one of my favorite lines from Ultron is like, "I didn't create the murder bot." You know, remember that line? His delivery is just fucking awesome as that character.
That moment to me also always felt like it just kind of slipped out. Like he didn't intend to say it the way he said it.
And that's when you're a damn good actor. When it almost feels ad-libbed.
Yeah.
That's when you're good. But yeah, I cannot freaking wait for Thor 3, dude.
Oh, I know.
One of our other favorite actors on the planet is Michael goddamn Keaton. And I'm almost getting tired of talking about this story because this has gone back and forth like 12 times.
Oh, I know. We had another story that did this. What was it?
It was actually Fury Road and George Miller back for Mad Max, or is he? Is he not?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he just kept yo-yoing back and forth.
And then that douchebag interviewer was just like, he's leaving, he's done, and he's like, no, that's not the case at all. Fuck him.
Yeah.
So he's apparently Michael Keaton is apparently back in talks / quote unquote final negotiations.
Or did he ever even leave talks and someone just made shit up?
I don't even know. But yeah, it's for Spidey Homecoming. We still don't know who he'd be playing.
Someone saw him walk out of the building after the meeting and they're like, oh, it's not happening. He walked out.
So this was actually reported. Normally I would just call horseshit on this, but it was the Hollywood Reporter who is the current source for this current negotiation that's being reported. So, I mean, that's kind of all we have to go on at the moment. I wish if he is in the fucking movie, they would just announce it so we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Right.
But if he is, I'm really excited for that. I think it's really cool to see him kind of come full circle, like back into genre.
Yes.
Because, you know, like you think of Michael Keaton and you think of like Batman and Beetlejuice, that shit was in the 80s.
Yeah.
So he went away for a really long time doing small bit roles and stuff like that, and then, you know, all of a sudden it's
like multiplicity and
then all of a sudden it's like he
that.
comes back for Birdman and he gets back on like the Oscar radar, and then a year and a half later it's like Spider-Man villain.
See, and Birdman is why I'm hoping it's not the Vulture.
I know,
because I'm like, really, guys?
It's so on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I'm not saying he wouldn't be a good Vulture. He'd be good at any role you give him. He could play fucking Spider-Man for all I care, but, you know, after the Vulture attacks him and he's older. No. But I just, like, come on.
It would be so on the nose that I would only
oh my god, did you guys see that Birdman movie? We should totally get that guy.
I will only be thinking Birdman.
Yeah.
If I watch that. I mean, dude, I'll still fucking enjoy it because it's Michael Keaton. He'll be good.
Yeah.
But it's in the back of your mind, which, you know.
I'll just be waiting for the scene that he becomes an attorney. And he's working with Peter Potamus and the Jetsons come back from the future.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm hoping he's playing someone else. We're on board for Norman Osborn, obviously.
Yes, that would be my pick. But, you know, I'll take Vulture. I've been kind of wanting them to do Vulture. I just didn't know it was going to be a guy that already played a Birdman once.
Well, method acting. So yeah, a little bit more casting news to get to involves one of our other favorite guys on the planet. And I'm actually going to say this real quick. We earned this week of news because the last couple of weeks were fucking devastating. I almost walked off a couple different bridges, dude. It was horrible. Ewan McGregor, our boy, one of our other boys, Fargo season 3, he is a lead. And I'm like, shit, now I have to watch Fargo season 1 and 2.
I didn't know there was a season 2 of Fargo.
Oh, dude. So Fargo in the critical circles is up there with, like, Breaking Bad. Like, people and Game of Thrones. People that are watching that show are, like, mind blown by how good it is. And I still want to watch it because if you've seen any other cast for that show, it's ridiculous. Like, season 1, Martin Freeman was in it. Billy Bob Thornton. Like, it's one of those, like, ensemble shows where, like, 10 fucking famous people where you're like, how'd you even afford them?
Yeah.
And then with this, you had me at Ewan and McGregor, dude. Like, I have to watch it now. He's also interesting playing twins, so you'll get to see him really show his talent because it's, you know, it's fucking hard. Huh. It's hard to act, period, let alone be two people in the same show. You know?
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, it sounds interesting.
I still need to watch the fucking movie. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie. I know the story.
Which is, it's sad for me because I'm a huge Coen Brothers fan. Like, Big Lebowski is one of my other, like, top 5 favorite movies of all time, and I've never gotten to catch Fargo. I suck, I know.
But, yeah, and I just remember when they first announced that show, I was just like, you're going to make an entire show off of that movie?
Well, pretty much what they are is it's set in the same universe, and it's actually, they span different time periods too, because season 1 was like mid-2000s, season 2 was in the 70s, and I think this is either 80s or 90s, so they jump around within the universe, so it's interesting. Yeah, I still need to check it out to have an actual opinion, but if fucking Ewan McGregor doesn't sign on to anything, so if he's signing on for it, it's probably good. what we will definitely be fucking checking out is the DC CW orgy that is going to be going on screen later this year. So it's no secret, CW now has Supergirl in addition to Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow, and they are doing a 4-show crossover.
They've already been, like you said, whoring out Supergirl. Because, dude, on that Flash finale,
it was like 4 trailers.
Supergirl, Sunday.
This fall. There was like literally 4 trailers pimping out Supergirl. Yeah. It's like they even had
it's been a week, and they're like on CW. Dare to
They
defy.
even had they had a photoshopped image of where she reveals like what's supposed to be the Supergirl logo, and it was the CW logo. I was like, you assholes. But yeah, I'll be watching every second of it. I'm actually really excited to see what they do with Supergirl, because I want to know to what extent it's a reboot.
Yeah.
Because they have to make it accessible for people like you and I who are going to be checking it out for the first time. Really, we watched the Barry Allen episode, obviously because it's fucking Flash. But
right.
Actually giving that show a shot, it has to simultaneously work.
Because I'll tell you right now, after what I saw,
I'm not going back.
I'm not going back.
It has to work. It's tricky. And it has to work simultaneously as a second season for the people who watch season 1 and a season 1 for CW fans.
And like you pointed out off mic when we were just talking one day, it's not going to have the budget that it had on CBS. And if you want to talk about CW level graphics, we're used to the Flash, so you're going to have a hard time wowing us with the special effects, because Flash looks a hell of a lot cooler than it should.
King Shark,
that's all you need to say. Argument over.
It looked amazing.
Yeah. So, and him when he was like running on the water and shit, no, you're not going to wow me at the special effects. You got to step up your writing.
And what we talked about before too, about how I think it's a good thing they had their budget cut, because it was obviously like they were skating on their budget a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, if they really have to get serious about write a compelling story, that should always be the focus. A lot of what little I've seen of Supergirl, like every fucking time it wasn't Barry Allen in that episode, she was talking to someone else about her relationship with Jimmy Olsen. It's like, dude, quit grinding the storyline into the ground. You know,
and the stuff we're talking about was none of the actor's fault, really, from what I saw.
Not. It was writing.
I mean, I'll give you, I saw one episode and a single scene on mute when I was talking to my wife one day and it just happened to be on. They actually did a really good job of, there she was flying around. I'm like, okay, she's flying around. It kind of looks cool, whatever. But we were sitting there having a conversation. It was just on mute because whatever we were watching had ended. And all of a sudden, they totally pulled the fucking Iron Man when he got shot by the tank and fell out of the sky. She got fucking shot with like a piece of kryptonite something and fell out of the sky. And it was fucking dramatic when it happened. I was like, okay, you piqued my interest a little bit with that.
Yeah.
But as far as, like I said, she was charming, and her and Barry had really good chemistry on screen. I can only imagine with how like sweet and innocent that her character is portrayed, and then you have Barry, who's a little bit goody two shoes. You throw her in the mix with like Arrow and Rory, fucking Mick Rory, is that his name? Heatwave.
Yeah.
You throw her like in the mix with all of them and stuff. It's just going to be. I think it's going to be funny.
You know what would be a fun little plot line to do is, in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, and maybe, I think they even started it in the regular Justice League cartoon before it turned into Unlimited, but how Wonder Woman was always like all over Batman's nuts.
Yeah.
If Supergirl is like all over Oliver Queen's nuts, that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah,
where he's just like playing her off, just like leave me alone.
Dude, they've ripped off everything else Batman.
Yeah, fuck it, man.
Just do it. Just do it.
But yeah, a 4-show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
And if Constantine had happened, we would have all 5.
I can't wait.
If Constantine would happen, my TV would be permanently on CW, no matter what day it is.
The best episode of Arrow was the crossover.
Yeah.
Other than the Constantine one.
Yeah.
And like if they can get even like 3/4 as good as the crossovers have been, it'll be really fun.
The only thing that's going to disturb me is, so far the crossovers have been 2-part, because part 1 was on Flash, part 2 was on Arrow. Now it's going to be probably 4-part episode.
Oh yeah, they will, because they weren't able to do a third part because we're
approaching miniseries now.
It was because for Legends it was actually used cleverly as the backdoor pilot for Legends of Tomorrow. So now they're jumping, like you said, it jumped from 2 to double up to 4. So it's like they have to be on their A game. It's hard enough to write one television show, but when you're having to concentrate on, like, okay, we have to make it work for us, plus tie into everything else for this.
I was gonna say, because you got to remember too, this is 4 separate writing rooms.
Yeah,
you know.
Especially, it's also curious how they work in the CBS Supergirl, because that was not even in the same building. That was a completely different division. For CBS than it would have been at CW.
And I'm curious exactly what they do bringing her in too, because, you know, when their crossover happened on CBS, it was a different Earth entirely. Yeah,
we'll have to wait, and they have to establish it fucking soon too, because the first episode they have to explain. I'm also curious if that means they're going to change how many actors they bring over with her.
Yeah,
because I could easily see them doing the thing like how Barry Allen got trapped on her Earth by himself. I could see a thing where she by herself gets trapped in the CW universe, and they just kind of reboot it. I mean, it's really, I'm really fascinated by what they do.
That's kind of what I'm expecting to happen.
I'm really curious to see what they do with it, because they have to, like we were saying, they have to make it accessible to you and I, plus people like Philip, you know, who watched the entirety of season 1. It has to work, and it's, if they pull it off.
You watched Supergirl?
Yeah, he quit Arrow and Legends and finished all of Flash and Supergirl.
That makes me sad a little bit.
Oh, well, dude, I mean, especially the ending of Legends would have been Philip Crack.
It would have been.
Like it is for me. But yeah, shameless plug, we're going to be reviewing Legends of Tomorrow and Flash. If you would like to check that out, that's going to be a separate podcast. But yeah, we have... Yeah, I accept that. So we've got one more little bit of news before we head on out. It's a little bit of a cool Blizzard story that I'm going to let Ron take away. Okay, so when you hear any news about a specific company in the video game industry, Jeff, it's usually shit like the Nazis pull. But most of the time, when you hear Blizzard's in the news, it's like the polar opposite of that. And they were in the news this week, not once, but twice. And just for all the right reasons. I'll be the judge of that. So, the first thing is, regardless of how you may or not feel about Overwatch, because we're just kind of like it's bullshit for the most part, but everyone else seems to adore it. I think it's probably a really fun game. I don't appreciate how it is shamelessly ripping off Team Fortress 2 and Pixar. That's just me. Yeah, but whatevskis. That's not our type of game anyway. Yeah, exactly. So this is adorable. This little, I don't think it gives her actual age, but really young girl designed her own character, and this is up on Nerdist if you want to see the images. I may even put them in the video. It's up on that, and it's up on Twitter, but she designs her own character called Burst, and the father tweeted it to the Overwatch page, which is @PlayOverwatch, and one of the Blizzard artists, Roman Kinney, saw the image, and she had also written out a description of the character's powers and everything else. He took that concept and finished it into what it would have looked like had it been in the game. And it looks really cool. It looks really fucking cool. And there's a lot of people that are wanting to know when they get to play as that character, if you look through the replies to the tweet and stuff. But she wields a fucking gigantic boomerang. And yeah, I mean, it just, everything about this is really cool. And I don't even know, I mean, knowing like a video game artist or any artist's skill, it probably took him like an hour to whip up completely. But I still wonder what that would have cost Blizzard if he's like one of their main guys or something for that hour to whip that up. But yeah, I just thought it was really cool. If you look at the actual tweet from Shane Hickey,
It's at Shane Hickey. It has currently, Jeff, 1,773 retweets and 3,131 likes. And the number of replies are probably very similar.
It's an awesome little story.
But yeah, when he first tweeted it, Overwatch, the official Overwatch account, said this is absolutely amazing and adorable. Tell her we love it. And then they replied again the following day and said our artist was so inspired they created their own fan art. We hope your daughter loves it. And they have the image of Burst that he created, and in the upper corner they have the image that she had submitted. I guess that he had submitted for her, that she had drawn. So yeah, it's just a really cool thing. I don't know. It's just one of those.
Yeah, Blizzard's one of the good ones. It's like CD Projekt Red, Blizzard, Rockstar, Rocksteady. I'm forgetting someone else, but there's very few video game companies who are actually, appear to be genuinely good people.
Yeah.
A lot of them appear to just be awful, awful assholes. So this is good for the gaming industry as a whole.
The other thing that was cool is any Blizzard game that you play, Warcraft, World of Warcraft, Diablo, any of the Diablos, StarCraft, one thing you notice about them and their options is the key bindings page. You can literally remap any button, any action in the game to whatever button you want. And evidently, judging by this article, they kept that in Overwatch. And what's interesting about that is it's a first-person shooter, basically. I mean, what first-person shooters do you know that you can remap any of the functions? Usually, there's like 3 or 4 control schemes, and they're all really similar with a few things moved around here and there. And the reason that's important is because... the fuck is his name?
I think Zach something.
Yeah, it's Zach something. I was going to see... They're only calling him Zach here.
Yeah, he might have not revealed his last name.
He might not have, but on Reddit, Zach, Z-A-K, wrote basically a letter thanking them for their accessibility options because he can't really play first-person shooters because he has cerebral palsy. And he doesn't have the full use of his hands. And it kind of limits him on what games that he can play. And there's some first-person shooters that he can try, but he's not very good at them because he's very limited on control schemes. And he, I guess he was able to remap all the buttons in such a way to allow him to play, and he got his first headshot with a sniper rifle in a first-person shooter for the first time in his life.
It says he enabled aim toggle and mapped the fire button to the controller's left analog stick, so that eliminated the need for
the trigger. Yeah. He can click it. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. He wrote a full write-up on how I don't know if this was your intention or not, but I appreciate the key mapping options and all that. But it was just a really cool thing because he has now a whole new genre of video game to play just because of something as simple as the ability to remap the keys. And
because the story has gotten out there, people will probably take that new account for future mapping schemes and stuff like that.
I actually have a buddy that is he was in a car wreck when he was a kid, and his left arm and his left leg are affected with some kind of nerve damage. He has a brace for his left leg that he doesn't wear as often as he's supposed to, and he has very limited use of his left arm, so it's kind of atrophied and everything. And he loves Grand Theft Auto, and he can literally turn the controller sideways and do it all with his right hand on Grand Theft Auto.
That's crazy.
Fucking blows my mind, dude. And any racing game or any two-player game, he pretty much kicks my ass. But with the PS3 and Xbox 360 and up, when they changed, we used to play GoldenEye, and he would just annihilate me at GoldenEye. But with the way first-person shooters are now, he just fallen behind in those. He can't really play those anymore because the control schemes.
They're so precise.
Exactly. But he can still do Grand Theft Auto and stuff. But it made me kind of think of him. If they'd start doing that, he could probably play Battlefront or something if they had a Battlefront game that they introduce a way to actually remap the buttons rather than using a preset controller scheme.
Yeah, and this is just one more thing. it's ridiculous when people call out and talk shit about video games, because like this is a guy who otherwise couldn't have played this entire genre of something that makes him happy. He now can. I mean, it's yes, it's a video game, but it's important. Like he has that one.
It's an outlet.
Yeah, it's an outlet. We all need them, and now he has another way to enjoy video games that he loves. It's like, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
really, really good week for the video game industry as a whole,
which is very rare.
Because usually it's that Kanatsi's like chaining people to chairs. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, good on you, Blizzard. I've always been a fan. So
yeah, I will not be playing Overwatch, but I appreciate what they've done with the game.
Yeah.
From what I've seen,
and
that's not to say that like, I mean, I obviously like Blizzard too. I put an embarrassing amount of hours into WoW. I like Diablo quite a bit. I still want to play StarCraft. I like pretty much all their games. I don't want to play Overwatch because it's not my type of game, but I appreciate the work they all put into it.
Yeah, that's one thing. Blizzard is typically pretty passionate about their stuff.
That's why it takes so long to release a game, because they want it to be good.
I wish they'd get a little bit more passionate about Diablo, but that's my jam. So, but yeah, that was pretty much all that I had on that. I just thought that would be a good note to end the show on, just because, obvious reasons.
Always a good thing when the gaming industry has good news. But yeah, if you'd like to check us out more, please like and subscribe. You get all of our Let's Plays, commentaries, all the sorts. Like I said earlier, we also do recap shows. We're going to be recapping the finales for Legends of Tomorrow and The Flash as soon as we get in recording this. We also do a Game of Thrones recap every Sunday night. It's called Tonight's Watch. Be sure to check that out if you're interested. We have social media links for Facebook and Twitter in the description. And if you know anyone else, friends or family-wise, that you think might also enjoy us, we really, really appreciate the share. I am Jeff.
I'm Ron.
And we will catch you guys next week.